How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael,
I'm Sam.
and welcome to the Unbearable Truth Podcast. It is May 2nd today, I believe, and the topic for today is going to mirror I would say, the theme of the month. Shouldn't really be a theme, but it is, and that is mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we're here just to talk about our experiences as well as, just share some insight on the things we've overcome as well as the things we've struggled with. So again, we've stated before that it's not the easiest to be vulnerable on camera, to show people our bellies, the soft spots of us, mostly because I feel like we were made to keep those things to ourselves. But unfortunately, we live in a time where everyone's keeping it to themselves. And before we go right into it, I have this right here, a statistic from turnbridge.com that says that in the United States, over 54% of adults do not receive treatment for their mental illness. For those
That's
who,
wild.
yeah, over half of people suffer from some type of, well, not half of people suffer from some type of mental illness, but the people who do, over 50% don't get it treated. It's all about vulnerability. A lot of times, people in general, we struggle in silence, you know?
Even then, I've struggled in silence myself until it got to the point where I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I have to
Make changes
make changes to my mindset or try to look for, a doctor. In my case, like, I try to look for a holistic doctor. Like, I tried so hard to do it on my own. You can only do so much on your own.
Oh yeah.
You know?
That's the thing is life is about connection. Life is about us as people coming together. Like, you hold pieces that I may need that I don't have access to, and that's why we each other are so valuable in our lives. Not just like brother and sister, but people who are watching this, our friends and our family. The more we keep ourselves reserved in a way, we keep ourselves away from a lot of solutions, a lot of perspectives, and a lot of help that we may tell ourselves isn't there, but it is. Yeah.
I agree.
So I have this other statistic right here. This is according to NAMI.org. 22.8% of the U.S. adults experienced mental illness in 2021. That is 57.8 million people. This represents 1 in 5 adults.
Wow.
So 1 in 5 adults, 22.8% of U.S. adults experience mental illness.
It's sad. I've gone through, maybe not a whole, to a certain extent, but I can't even imagine I can't imagine it's like, I don't have the words right now, but it's sad.
Yeah. And that's really what it is. So it's no, because again, I'm the one who in the family who pushes and advocates for speaking up and talking about the things that are, that's our bird, the things that are troubling us. And unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate, because again, I can't say that I believe everything happens for a reason and not believe that the things that I've gone through and overcome didn't happen for a reason,
I feel different. I feel a lot of things happen for a reason. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I can't say that. For example, I can't say I didn't go through depression for no reason.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, it's like there's definitely a reason, and we come from a Mexican household, from a Hispanic household, and those who are Hispanic, and I believe it's these days it's most most people, most households, our bird's very vocal today. If you hear her wonderful voice.
She's cute.
Yeah, we'll bring her out one day. We'll bring her out. She's like right here. But going back to what I was saying is mental illness or things like depression aren't taken seriously, or it's not really like taken, like it's not believed.
It's
where
like,
we
oh,
come
get
from.
over it, keep going. Like,
Yeah.
they just kind of shrug it off.
And that's comes from my personal experience. I have a whole list. I sat and I thought about the things I've gone through myself.
Wait, honestly,
What?
before we get there, I just had a thought. That is what we need to do sometimes. Not shrug it off, but we do need to pay attention to it. But that's the only way to keep going. Is not to get stuck into our thoughts. But I mean, it is different though, because
that's easier said. Like, I disagree. That's easier said than done, because you can't.
I agree.
I'm telling you, like, coming from that's the mindset. That's the mindset. And again, like,
I can only speak that way for certain things.
Let me finish. No disrespect, but that is the mindset in which dug the hole further for me. Was they couldn't comprehend and they couldn't break down like what depression was. And when I mustered up the courage and I mustered up the willpower to be able to speak my feelings, because we weren't allowed to speak our feelings.
Yeah.
So when I finally got the courage to tell my parents, that I was struggling with depression, it was that I was received with, you must not be working hard enough. Like, just keep moving forward. But the thing is depression, like, you're lucky you've never gone through depression. Anyone who's never gone through depression,
well, I don't know
finish, they're lucky, because depression is like a quicksand. It's not just like a bad day. It's not just a bad mentality. Depression is like a mental quicksand. And how can you move? If you're stuck in quicksand and I tell you just keep moving forward, that's not how you get out of quicksand. Quicksand is the more you struggle, the more you sink underneath. And the only way, I believe, to shed light on something like that is to truly talk about it. And again, at that time, I was maybe like 14 or 15 years old. So like being shut down like that only isolated me further into depression and my mental ailments, was because it's like you finally gaining the courage to ask for help. And when you do that, you're like, nah, just work harder. You're obviously not working hard. And at that time, I was in sports, like as time went on, I was a student athlete. I was like the captain of the wrestling team. I was in a whole bunch of college courses in high school. I had a bunch of friends. I had a girlfriend, but I was severely depressed. And right here, there's something called, I wrote down, which is it's high functioning mental illness. So high functioning mental illness, it's like, think of like a high functioning alcoholic, right? Someone who can slam like 12 shots or slam like 12 beers, and you look at them and they don't even look like they're wasted or drunk or anything, right? They have built such a tolerance to the point where it doesn't affect them as much. And in my life, that's a lot how my mental illness was, is I was just high functioning. In my mind, I knew I had to go to school. I knew I had things to do. I knew I had to go to practice. I knew I had a girlfriend to I don't want to say entertain, but to interact with. I know I had friends I knew I had to make laugh. So it was just like doing a job. You just went to work, you did your job, and then you went back. But when I was alone, oftentimes I was just like curled up in a ball, or I was just sitting in the dark by myself, or like, and then the more depression goes on, things, they stop feeling worth it. It stops feeling worth it to go to school.
Like, it's questionable. Like, things start to get questionable.
You can't even question it because you just don't care. Like going to sleep on time, you're like, I don't even care to go to sleep on time. I'm just gonna like sit here and watch and watch like YouTube videos or play video games, or like, I don't even care if I don't text back, because like what's the point anyways? Or like I've always had big dreams and I've always had dreams, and that's what kept me going. But it got to a point where I was like, I don't even care about my dreams. Like, what's the point? Like that's how it gets you. It's how it attacks you. But
I guess it's to a certain extent though. That's how I feel with certain things that I've gone through, because no, you are right. You can't just like say, okay, I'm just going to get over it and keep going, or, ignore it. Because there are moments where I've felt that way. I just felt like the cycle's just never going to end. It was a very emotional roller coaster. I just felt like it just was going to keep going.
yeah,
And then there were other things that happened where, like PTSD, for example, I just kept going until I was patient with myself and my feelings until I finally got over it.
and
So
that's
it's
life
kind of
though,
like,
like that's kind of just how life is. But there's definitely ways to go about these things, because there's small cases, there's intermediate cases, and then there's like severe cases. Like someone who went to, like, for example, like a war veteran, right, who gets PTSD from fireworks. Like, you can easily just tell them to just keep going, but the fact is loud noise gives them those flashbacks. Like you kind of have to, it's about coming to peace with a lot of these things.
yes.
And I guess going, like you said, going forward is how you find that peace. Like, it's not found just staying still or staying stagnant. um but I wish for me it was only like the depression aspect. And again, I personally, I was never clinically diagnosed with anything, because again, Mexicans don't believe in that stuff. We don't believe in going to the doctor and getting therapy and mental health stuff. It literally is just like, just keep, just go to work, just keep
I feel like
going.
our parents, as long as we were like fed and they loved us and we were taken care of, it's like we were fine.
There was no
But
emotional aspect of it,
right, we didn't
Yeah.
know how to communicate our feelings and let them know that things were going on. So we struggled
Yeah.
emotionally, mentally,
And again, I was
physically
always a
too. We
thinker,
had eating disorders.
Yeah.
We kind of like, I think mine happened with Bob passing. Our grandfather passed
Yeah.
2012, I believe. So I think I was 12 years old.
Yeah, I was like
Around there,
10, 11.
yeah. So with my eating disorder, that's why all that happened.
Yeah.
Like I, got to the point where I didn't even want to eat. I would run, dude. I would run on the treadmill. I would eat probably like once a day, or like sporadically throughout the day, like little,
Snacks or whatever. Yeah.
And then I would go run on the treadmill at night or whenever, and I would come upstairs. I would look in the mirror and I would like pinch my stomach, and I'm like, I'm still fat. Like, what is this? This should, like, I just grab a little bit of my fat.
Like
And
skin
I'm
at
like,
that point.
yeah, skin, right? It's not even fat at that point. And I was like skin and bones. I think that was like 8th grade. Yeah, it was 8th grade.
And the same thing for me.
And I would look on like magazines, like the fashion model magazines, and I would look at them and I'm like, well, I want to be that skinny. And I was already skinny and I didn't think I was. And sometimes it got to the point where I wanted to throw up my food, but
like bulimia.
But then, yeah, it was gross. So I was like, well, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And I just kept running. I would just keep running on the treadmill. It was bad.
Yeah. And
what were you going to say?
No, it's kind of crazy how a lot of the things I went through, I made it worse for myself. That's why I have a whole list of the things that I've experienced. Again, I wouldn't say that I'm clinically diagnosed with any of these, but I know what it's like. And around that time, I did the opposite. I was an emotional eater. I didn't know how to process my emotions, and I knew that food brought me comfort. So I just ate a lot, and I ate, and I ate, and I ate to the point where I wanted to throw it back up. So it was the opposite.
He was overweight, and I was underweight.
Yeah.
It was anorexia, and then
it was obesity, really.
Obesity.
I gained a lot of weight.
It's not funny, but it's like we had each other when we were little.
Yeah.
But at the same time we didn't. It was weird.
Oh, I mean, we were just kids though at that time.
Yeah.
What do we know? And for me, like, I'm the thinker. I feel like almost anyone can go through depression. And again, like we're speaking on personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
We're speaking on what is known. We're no doctors. I believe for conversation. Yeah. This is a podcast, this is a video, but when do we talk and have conversations where we need to cite everything that we say? Like we could be wrong, but that's also the risk of having conversations. And
Mm-hmm.
I have this list right here of things that I've experienced and I've broken down, which was depression, severe depression, high functioning, meaning that no one knew. Like when the previous podcast, when I brought up like narcissism and things like that, I had a really, really good poker face. Like I developed a habit of lying because I realized that the moment I started lying was the time where people were asking me if I was okay, and I said I was, and that was a lie. So from there, I became a liar, and I was a coward, and I didn't want to face my reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran away from it, and I built this false reality of lies. And anything built on falsity, anything built on lies, eventually collapses, eventually crumbles,
I feel like that's where, like you said, that's where it starts.
and
Kind
spiraling
of.
out. Like
Yeah.
crashing out. And next, I have anxiety, which is fear and worry. I had no security, no emotional intelligence, and I was afraid of everything. It was just strictly fear. And the next is bipolar, which is like mood swings, and it says depressive lows and manic highs.
Mm-hmm.
I do link a lot of what we've gone through or what we've experienced to us being spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like I learned that the how I got accustomed to my mood swings or my bipolar, which is some days I'd be really happy, some days I'd be really depressed. Like there's really no in between. I'm a very intense person, but a lot of times it had to do with the energy I was around. That I didn't know how to be stable within myself. So my mood and my demeanor changed. Like not so much my character.
Like you mean make you feel other people's energies?
Yeah. Like I had no grasp of my own.
That's how I am right now. I'm trying to learn how to feel it and let it go.
Yeah.
Like it's not my energy. It's I feel you, but now I have to not bring it with me. So
let it pass.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
grab onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did because we came from a very intense household. A lot of like our again there was a lot of healing involved in our family. But there was a time where we didn't know better as people, and there was a lot of emotional abuse there's emotional abuse, and then there's like something that I believe is like energetic abuse, meaning that you can be abusive with your energy. Does that make sense? Like
I'm trying to think of like
think of like your energy field, right? Like there's a field around you.
Mm-hmm.
Without you knowing, you can create spikes with your energy. Now you're like a porcupine. So now it hurts to be around you.
Okay.
Or like it kind of like, but
like you're on edge.
Kind of.
People are on edge with
yeah. So there's no like if you're feeling aggressive, your energy's aggressive now, right? Or if you're feeling if you don't know how to control your emotions,
kind of like when you felt agitated. This was probably like months ago. I came in the house and I was like, why do I feel so agitated? Like I felt fine. And I'm like, why do I feel like I just want to like, I don't know. I just felt this agitation in me.
Is the energy
like spikes,
of the environment.
Like how you said. Yep. And then sure enough, you had said you were feeling some type of way. I can't remember. You were frustrated or something. I'm like, no wonder it's not me. And that's when I kind of just like slowly, I let it go.
And that's the outcome of people who have stronger personalities or stronger energies, is they have to be a little more responsible with their moods or their energy, because it truly does affect other people. It affects the room, it affects the environment. And then after bipolar, I put ADHD, which is the inability to focus, the inability to kind of sit still, the inability to gain concepts by sitting and learning. It was really, really it was really hard for me to grasp concepts when I was younger. So I literally had to teach myself how to focus, teach myself how to use my attention like a tool, you know, like knowing how to put my, so now it's like I either hyper focus on something or now I just like I still kind of have the ability, like, so like if you're talking to me, I'll like space out. Doesn't mean I'm not listening, but it's kind of like, you know, my attention shifts. Like I have my hearing on you, but like my attention sometimes will go around. I mean, it is what
Like
it
you
is.
have other thoughts going on in your head, or you're.
I guess I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. Like for me personally.
Or you're paying attention to something else, but you're listening.
Yeah, that makes, yeah.
In a sense.
Kind of like it's much more manageable now because I put a lot of work into improving that. But when I was younger, obviously it was bad. I was a bad kid. I was a class clown. You know, I didn't want to pay attention. I would rather make the people around me laugh. You know, and the next one I put was OCD, which was we were raised kind of with this perfectionist
Our
mindset.
dad is a perfectionist.
Yeah, so literally everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be presentable. Like we were taught to hyperanalyze something before it was presented. And in life, nothing's perfect. So for me, when something was imperfect or when something went off of the track or the mental picture I had, I would like spiral out. Like I didn't know how to go about it. I'd freak out. Like the podcast, like sometimes like I have to, I catch myself, like I have to set the angle a certain way and the lighting and then like my strand in my hair and then I stop myself and I'm like, man, it is what it is. You know, like it's authentic. It's going to flow. We'll adjust it next time, which that's how you combat those things. You do got to talk to yourself because you spend the most time with yourself than anybody's going to spend time with you. You know, I grew up with you my whole entire life, but you spend more time with yourself than I've ever spent with you. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So you need to be your biggest supporter. You need to be your biggest advocate against your negative thoughts or against like the illnesses of the mind.
My OCD, well, I don't think I had OCD, but more perfectionism.
It's kind of the same thing, you know?
I guess so. But mine wasn't as, I feel like everything that you've written down, mine isn't as intense as yours. But I still had some
form of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like when I was in school, I would write down my name. If I didn't like the first letter, rip it up. I'd throw it in a ball, throw it away, roll up in a ball. Things like that. If I didn't like my handwriting or the coloring, I'd throw it away. Mostly with being creative, that's where I've had a hard time. I've had a hard time being creative because I needed it to be perfect. And it's funny because that's how Dad is with painting. He never wanted us to help him paint because he wanted, which is, I mean,
we would mess
fine,
it up, or he had a standard.
Way.
He had a standard that no one can achieve. He can't even achieve his own standard. So we were never able to achieve a satisfactory stand. And that actually, like, it's like, again, the last podcast, it was the relationships with our parents. Like that messed me. I was an overachiever at everything. Like I needed to be top in the class. I needed to be top in athletics. I needed to be like I always needed to win. A lot of that came from like I had to reach this, like, again, I needed that validation, like, because I'm a boy, you know, I needed that validation from my father to show that I can be satisfactory to his standard. But little did I know that he wasn't even satisfactory to his standard. So I would have never, there's nothing I could have done unless maybe become like that's what I wanted to be, like the best in the world growing up. Like I wanted to be a champion in something. I wanted to like undeniable proof, like this is my trophy. Like I succeeded this standard, and in my mind, like I was dead set in doing that. And that gave me the ability to overachieve in a lot of things. But again, like it ruined my relationships because on the journey there, I was so dead set in earning the, what is it? The validation of my parents over any relationship or my friendships. I chose the success over the love, you know?
That's the difference between me and you, is that you really put mom and dad
On a
up here
pedestal. And
on a
that's,
pedestal, and
yeah,
I kind of just went about everything on my own. Like, I didn't really,
yeah.
I guess, care to think like, oh, I'm gonna do this for my mom, I'm gonna do this for my dad. I never had that thought in my head. I kind of just
Just did.
I kind of just did it. Yeah. So that's the difference between me and you.
I guess I seen it as like honor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because again, like I'm
Well, not just with me and you, but with,
people.
I'm sure there's other people that are like that too.
It took me a while to break out of that, to be honest. Like it came from maturity,
Mm-hmm.
seeing that we are all just people. And for me, at the end of the day, my mindset now is, as long as I go to sleep knowing that I'm pleasing and I'm doing right by God. You know, God is the only one who I go out and I try my best to please now, because there's a lot of experiences in my life where I feel like God and Jesus came through for me.
Mm-hmm.
So now I do my best, which a lot of that is just to be understanding, is just to be patient. It's a lot of like wholesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now I try to appease by that. But in my mind, your arm?
Yeah, I think how I'm like
You're
positioned.
sitting. Yeah, you gotta sit. Change it.
I'm getting sleepy with this cover in the back of me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, now people are just people, you know, or like, not in a bad way, but we are all on the even playing field, and people will make mistakes. People will have shortcomings. Like, there's no pedestal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I actually had PTSD, which is going off what you said. Can you explain your PTSD or your situation?
So the one that pops in my head, because it's the more clear one, this happened, what, 2.5 years ago? We were in Mexico and we were at the beach, and I was going in the water, normally, like a normal person, just going in the water. And the waves were actually pretty crazy.
Hmm.
Am I moving it too much? Sorry. So I went in, and I can't remember. I had to have gone in pretty deep, because dad was like more deep. I think like kind of waist, by the waist, or I don't know how to say
Like
it.
waist level, waist level.
Yeah, exactly. So I went ahead and I tried it. I'm like, oh, I can do it. I could swim. No, it like brought me down. So the minute the wave came, I went down, and it's so crazy because it brought my body up and I couldn't even stand on the sand. So I was trying to stand to come up out of the water, and I felt like I was going to drown. I went into a panic, and I went ahead and I came out of the wave, and finally I like went back to the sand and I walked towards mom, and I felt like I was down there for like 5 minutes. Mom was like, you just shot back up. Like, you weren't even down there.
You went
for
under the
long.
water and it came back up.
Yeah.
And like in your head,
and
you were
I was like, no, I swear I was down there for a long time. I was drowned. And so, okay, so then when I would start taking showers, I couldn't even put my face towards the shower head with it like when the water's coming down, because it would bring me back to that moment, and I felt like I was drowning. Even though I was taking a shower, I felt like that, those emotions all over again, and that fear.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even do that anymore. So I would just shower with my back against the shower head. And that's what I mean, that I don't really have any recommendations, because I didn't do anything about it. I kind of was just patient with myself, and I wouldn't force. I would try it. I would go in the shower and I'm like, okay.
You stopped taking showers?
You cannot. Shut the heck up. I'm like, okay, I can overcome this. Let's try it again. So I think I would just keep trying and trying, and not to force it. Like I said, to be patient, and until I kind of, I guess, like overcame it. And some days I didn't do it. Some days I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And I listened to myself, listened to my body.
That's huge.
Until it finally, came to the point where I forgot about it. and I was able to not forgot about it
You
necessarily,
overcame it.
but exactly.
You think that's how things become phobias for people? Like just one bad experience can cause a phobia for somebody, you know?
Possibly,
Like it's that memory of you. We gotta let go of that memory, or really allow ourselves to be present and not be caught up in the past, to be able, like in your circumstance, like take showers again and not feel fear of drowning.
It's not taking showers again.
No, but
because
no.
I
Like, hear
took
me out. Like, that's what I
showers.
mean. Like, I'm just using that as an example. Like, it's because some people, I'm sure there's an extreme out there where someone stopped taking showers because they couldn't get over the fact of feeling like they were going to drown. You know, like your case,
Yeah.
you had the mental fortitude to, like, to keep going at it and to eventually be present and overcome it. But like that's what a phobia is. Like their inability to overcome that emotion.
You know what? Now that I think about it,
Hmm.
it did get to a point where I had to take baths because it was just too much for me. So I would squat down, which it's not a bad idea because I actually was able to squat for a very long time doing that.
Yeah.
And I would squat in the shower. In the bathtub. And I would kind of just grab the water with my hands or with like a cup or something. Or I would grab a cup and I would fill it up and then toss it on myself while I was squatting.
Wow.
Down. And I would do that with my hair the whole freaking time. Probably like 10, 15 minutes or no, longer, because it's a bath. So it takes longer to like clean yourself.
I didn't know you did it like the old school way. I thought you literally like drew water and laid like a bath. But
no, I squat and the whole time.
Wow. And like that was
which
like,
actually pretty helped. It helped me with
yeah, like
somehow.
physically or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how bad it got to a point. Wow.
Yes. What's one of yours?
Like PTSD. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I may not be the only one, and it's not a problem anymore. But so I'm gonna share a story. When we were kids, we used to sleep in the same bed for, I don't know, like we were like what, like 5 or 6. Yeah, we used to sleep in where mom and dad's room is now. They used to be our room before. This was and I remember because it was a PTSD for me. But that used to be our room, and we used to sleep together. And when I was a kid, I was scared of my own shadow. Like I was a huge scaredy cat. Everything scared me, and I don't know why, but she used to love like horror movies, and she used to love like scaring people.
Well, we do know why.
Why?
We do know why.
Why I used to scare people?
Yeah. Why all that happened, why I was into all that stuff.
Oh. Yeah.
Little kids aren't
so
really.
We'll break into that in a little bit. But going back to what I was saying is, she liked to scare me, specifically when I was going to sleep. So like, me, like I'm just going to sleep, and she would like wake me up, and when I would open my eyes, so she would go into the Halloween decorations and grab like a mask or grab like a scary Halloween decoration, and I'm sleeping, and she would wake me up, and when I open my eyes, the first thing I see is that mask or something scary, and it would freak me out, and I start crying. And it happened for years. It happened for a long time, and it got even to a point where like we stopped sleeping together, and our rooms were in the upstairs, and our rooms were across from each other. And she would do some like crazy stuff where she would reenact like The Ring, and she would like crawl upside down.
That's not normal.
And she would start making like crazy demonic noises. And I imagine just you're dead asleep, and then you wake up and all you hear is like demon sounds, and then something's walking towards you like upside down. So that crap used to terrify me. So for the longest time, I couldn't sleep with the lights off. Like I had to sleep with the lights on. I was afraid of the dark. I just, all in my mind, I had fear that when I wake up, something's gonna scare me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that went all the way into my early 20s. Like,
Really?
I just recently overcame it. And I overcame it because I had this weird realization that even in the pitch black, we are living energy. We're living light.
Mm-hmm.
So even in the darkest rooms, I am the light in that room. Like scientifically and spiritually, like really, like the room's never dark because I'm in it. So that allowed me to sleep in the dark now is because I wasn't afraid anymore. And I also like do my prayer, and I'm just a much stronger. I'm a grown man now, so
protected.
I'm protected. So I don't fear almost anything, but obviously besides God. So then that was huge PTSD for me because I had to sleep with a light on, for the longest time, which is crazy, but it's the truth. I was just afraid of the dark. I always thought there was something lurking in the dark waiting to scare me. And I guess everyone has their moments where they overcome it or they get through that. And it took me a long time, but I mean, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I also like challenging myself too, so I forced myself to sleep in the dark, like just to sit in the dark and to go to sleep. And I just remember I was looking for something. Like I was so used to being scared that I was looking for things to scare me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was creating things to scare me in my reality. So then again, like I just told myself, and if I'm looking for the things to scare me, I can look for the things to protect me. And so now when I go to sleep, I just have this feeling that like I'm just divinely protected.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the dark doesn't scare me. And another one I have right here is paranoia, which, again, like PTSD, a lot of things that's why I have the sweater on. A lot of things they create paranoia for us, where we become paranoid or we create an enemy, we create conflict because we're so used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said before, it's those cycles, and our mind is all about cycles. That's what karma is. Karma is a cycle. It's an action that is continued until we break it. That's why they say break karmic cycles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's mental cycles as well, even positive ones and negative ones. And
I never got away with anything that I've done, even if I didn't mean it.
Yeah,
I never got away with it.
maybe we're not meant to.
If it didn't happen, weeks later or a month later, it definitely happened
Tell them about
a year
the gum.
later.
Tell them about the gum story.
Oh gosh, did it start? I have a lot of stories.
You can just give them the short about the.
There was the pee story and there was the gum story.
Do the gum one.
Okay, the gum one was it gum or candy? I don't know.
It was gum.
So
like chewing gum.
I remember more of the pee story, but the gum one, we were upstairs. Me and my friends were upstairs when I was little. It was like, what, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
And I was jealous because my friend was talking. My 2 friends were talking to each other, and they weren't paying attention to me. So I got jealous. So I think I had gum in my mouth, and I don't know why, but like if this came from the freaking sky or the ceiling or something. But I went ahead, I took it out of my mouth, and I placed it. I went like this to her head, and I just went, oops,
Was
like
she
it
sleeping?
just like fell. No, I think they were both. No, that was the pee story.
Oh, I mixed them in my mind.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
So they were both talking or playing, and I just went like this, and I dropped that on her head. And I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but obviously it got stuck in her hair, so they had to like
cut it out
and stuff. Kid you not, I don't know if I was sleeping with a...
Go in your mouth?
No.
Candy?
I think it was something for your throat. What is it?
Cough drop?
Cough drop. So the next morning, I was sleeping with a cough drop.
Mm-hmm.
It got stuck in my hair, and my mom had to cut my hair. So, I mean, that's not really like a funny...
No, but it's karma,
story, but yeah, that
it's
was
funny
karma.
now,
that
but
was karma for me.
Yeah.
I like more of the pee story.
All
not that I like it, but I like it because the karma definitely bit me in the butt.
Yeah.
I was laughing because at my friend, when we were little, I had been like 7 or 8,
Mhm.
And she had a problem with, wetting her bed. And I was making fun out of her. So I think I was talking to mom or something, and I was making fun out of her. And what happened? I didn't pee in my bed. And one night, I just happened to, I think I peed on the couch, actually.
Wow.
I was sleeping on the couch, and I peed on the couch. And my mom was like, see, that's what happens when you talk about people. So
yeah,
it started when I was little.
You get what you give,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And that, again, that goes a lot. It's like a universal law that I think is like, it goes for actions, it goes for thoughts, it goes for almost everything that we send out into the universe. It usually comes back to us. That's why it's usually always the best bet just to be a positive person. But again, the point here is about mental health, and a lot of times we're captive. We're not victims, but we're captive to the negativity in our life that manifests and grows hands into just holding us down. Mm-hmm. That's why I said, for me, experiencing it is like severe depression is like quicksand. We manifest those things, and it's like a trap where you just keep sinking and sinking. And how I got out of it was, the truth of it is, it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. And it's really sad, but I'm all into like the fitness. I'm in my community, and I'm known as like a person who's into fitness and stuff. And I'm often asked the question of how did I start getting into fitness? Mm-hmm. And I started because I felt like I needed to make myself suffer. Like I needed my physical suffering to match my mental suffering. So in the beginning, it wasn't like, yeah, let's go get fit, guys. Let's go for a jog. No, it was very toxic. Like I would do sit-ups until I cried, and I would do push-ups until like my arms got stuck and I couldn't move. And I would jog until like my feet would bleed, and my knees felt like they were gonna like give out. Like I was torturing myself. And I got like a very strong physical body from it. Mm-hmm. But the fact is I needed to channel that suffering into physical. And it kept going until I did relieve myself mentally. It came a time where I literally burned everything out, but I think I got injured and I couldn't do as much. So the mental suffering returned, Mm-hmm. And for me, it got so bad to the point where I wanted to, take my own life. It just like it got to a point where the concept of not being alive felt more peaceful than actually like living. Like I just wanted peace. I just wanted to search for peace of mind, for just peace in general. And what saved me, what got me is like I tell people, like I didn't just wake up one day and decide to start, like I don't go to church like I should, but I didn't wake up and like I'm gonna start reading the Bible or this that. It's like Jesus literally made himself known in my life and put me back on track. Like I say, it's like Mario Kart. Like you have a track that you're going on, and I got so far off track that the little cloud guy had to come pick me up and put me back on track. And from that moment forward, there was no denying like God and Jesus. Mm-hmm. Because without that like divine intervention, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at here advocating mental health, because I would have been another person that fell to it. Mm-hmm. So, hold on, give me 1 second.
Should we take her out?
Yeah, we can.
She wants to take her out.
Do you want? You want me to get her? You got it. I'm closer.
That's fine. You can get her then.
Okay, we're gonna show you guys our bird.
She's chirping and she wants to get out.
She was here all those other times, but she never made a sound. So now I guess she
wants to show herself. She'll be good. She'll be fine.
Okay, show off.
She literally just...
She's like, here I am. Well, she's over there.
She'll be fine.
But Um, yeah. So there's other ways as well. Like on my page, I developed a system called the 4 pillars of self, and that is emotional intelligence, philosophy, training, and faith. So what helped me get my life back on track and help me overcome all of these mental ailments. Hold on, I drink coffee, I got a burp. It was those 4 pillars of self. We need to practice certain practices to keep ourselves strong, because life's gonna beat us up. You know, like life's mission is to push us down. It's resistance. Life's all about resistance. So emotional intelligence is, I wrote right here, asking why to the emotional aspects is emotional intelligence. So if you feel a certain way, asking why you feel that way is emotional intelligence, because you end up getting an answer, which was, why was I mad? This is why I was mad.
And you're recognizing.
Exactly, those patterns in that.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one is philosophy, which here I wrote is asking why to the rational aspects. So the rational aspects is, why do you do what you do, right? Like, why do you go to the gym and work out? It's rational. It's because it keeps you healthy and it helps you with your heart condition, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's philosophy. The next one is training, which is, again, training your body. That helped me a lot with my mental thoughts. Was anxiety, even depression comes from being still too long. If we keep moving, we have less time to think, right?
Yeah.
So again, I think anybody can get depression, but depression is a thinking man's disease. Not just like men, but like a thinking person's disease.
Right.
You know, whoever thinks too much eventually starts thinking about why they're so sad. You know, and so the next one I put is faith, which is having faith in God, or having faith in that everything is going to be okay.
Like, you can't be anxious and have faith at the same time.
Exactly.
It just doesn't go hand in hand.
It doesn't go hand in hand. Faith means trust.
Exactly.
Trusting in God, trusting in the universe. You know, I don't want to put my beliefs onto anybody, but this system really changed my life. It changed my life around, you know? Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not talking about any specific religion, or I'm not saying you need to be a Christian or you need to follow Jesus. I believe Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life, but I would never push that on someone else. Mm-hmm. I would like to just exemplify myself and be a great man. And if I ever inspired anyone and pushed them closer to Jesus, then that is what it is, you know?
You had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, like, if someone asks me, you know, what religion are you? I don't go by labeling myself with, I don't like labeling myself with certain things, especially religion. I say I was born Catholic, but I'm not Catholic. As of right now, I'm not Catholic, I'm not Christian, I'm not, you know, any other.
You surely practice some of those aspects of the religions, but
because there's things that I agree with and there's things that I don't. But I know that I believe in him, and I pray to him, and I talk to him, and I have a really good relationship with him. So I'm like, why do I need to label myself? It's no.
Yeah.
That's just true. How I feel about it.
No, I'm the same way. I go straight to the relationship aspect, you know, like, again, right. I found God outside of church. I found God outside the Bible. So did I. You know? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean I don't do those things, or I don't go to church, or I don't read the Bible, but that only strengthens my relationship.
Honestly, it's so crazy, because when I feel like I need to go, because I don't go all the time.
Same.
But when it's calling me, like, you know, oh, just, you know, you should go, I do, and I hear like his words, or from the pastor, like
they resonate really hard.
Exactly. Yeah. With what I needed to hear, I hear it that day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's just so crazy. So sometimes I feel like, at least for me, everyone's different, but me, I feel like I don't need to go every Sunday. I don't need to go every Wednesday, or whenever mass is. Whenever I feel like it's pulling me to go, I go. That's me.
No, I'm the same way.
I keep saying that, but
no, yeah. And you know, obviously there's gonna be those who judge, and those who
I mean,
you know,
everyone thinks
whatever.
differently.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be that way. Or can you, like, imagine if we all thought the same? It would not be, like, unique. Like, it's...
We wouldn't be individuals,
Exactly.
you know? And that's the thing is, that's another reason why we have this podcast is it's all just conversations, right? Getting to know each other. I've talked about this on my personal page that I believe it's not about color, it's about culture. It's about the conversations between each other and understanding each other. Because what we often don't understand, we fear. It's unknown. We fear the unknown, and it even is in people, right? If you're mysterious to me, I'm just gonna stay away from you because you're different than me. And instead, we could just have a dialogue. We can have a conversation and get to know each other.
Because we're both human beings.
Exactly. You know, like they say, no matter what you believe in, we're all brothers and sisters under the sky. You know, we have different lives and different cultures and different whatever, but we share the same sky. We share the same trees.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we share the same ground, the earth. That should count for something, you know? And that's another aspect I believe is the mental health is there's a disconnect and connection now to the earth, to each other, to spirituality, to God. And hell is known to be just a place
Like a separation
of God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven is when you're connected to God, of God, and hell is just there is no God. There is no law, there is no peace. It's
dark
chaos.
and just chaos.
And I can say I've experienced both, you know. There's a lot of things I've done in my life that I'm not proud of in the terms of like spirituality. And that I also believe had a lot to play with my mental health and why it became so severe.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I could just say like I didn't, God did, you know, and this isn't all about pushing that on anybody, but it's my testimony. It really did make a big difference in my life. And I've experienced like all I wanted in my life was, yes, I wanted accolades, I wanted success, but what I wanted was I just wanted peace. You know, I just wanted peace. I wanted to feel like, you know what I mean? Like every
that,
day.
that
Yeah,
relief.
like just that like little rest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when a person lets themselves experience something like Jesus, he promises peace. And he gave me what he promised. And from that I will just stay loyal to that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like first of all I'll stay loyal to the man that saved my life, and I'll stay loyal to the aspect that he stood true to everything he said he was going to give, which is peace, purpose, direction, clarity, understanding, love. All those things that I was missing from my life I found and I got. And
that's the thing, that it doesn't happen right away.
It's a process.
And most people think they pray and they want it right away. It's not going to happen that way.
No.
It'll probably take months. It'll take a year. It'll take 2, just depending on your situation. But for me, it's never happened right away.
Same.
Like there's patience in the process.
And it's never pretty, and it never looks like what people say it's going to look like. Because at that time when I explained earlier that I just wanted to not be alive and I wanted like peace, is I got angry at God for intervening and saving me. I got angry because I was like, why didn't you just let me, you know, like why do you keep me here? You know?
Yeah.
Because it's like
you have a purpose.
I didn't know,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I'm saying.
Oh yeah. But like all I knew was it was just what I felt, which was just anger, and it had to be placed on somebody. It had to be pointed until.
That's exactly how it was with myself too.
Yeah.
When I was little, like I was just so.
Oh, like
angry
when you said when Bob passed.
Yeah.
Like you didn't really understand. You just got angry.
I mean, I was suicidal myself. Like I would hurt myself just to feel that pain. Yeah. Like, and I was too scared to do it. But I think what saved me was Sadie, our dog, because I didn't want to leave her alone here by herself. So I'm like, if I leave her alone here, who's gonna, love her? Who's gonna take care of her? That was just in my head when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. But yeah, it is that piece that you feel all this frustration and anger, and you don't know how to deal with it. So, it's especially, I mean, I'm sure, and any age.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. There's a lot of kids, especially these days, who are feeling all these things, and it's very sad. But a lot of that comes from just being lost, But all things that are lost are meant to be found, right? Like when you lose your keys are lost because you're meant to find them. And that's kind of what I believe about people as well. Is people are lost, but that only means you're meant to be found. And we determine that we need to take that leap of faith, and trust in something greater than ourselves. Because if we trust in ourselves, we get lost. We put ourselves in bad situations. We make bad decisions. But when you trust in something higher than us that you believe, and you can't look at all the negative of the world, because all the negative of the world is of us. We have free will. We do these things to ourselves and to each other because we're hurt, we are our own undoing. That's my favorite line. We do it to ourselves. We can't blame God for us seeing a rock on the floor and then proceeding to trip over it. We did that, right? It's a lot of the world is just lacking accountability within ourselves so that we can really just have great lives. And again, it's easier said than done. It's a process, but the number one advice is not to give up, because if you give up halfway through the tunnel, you'll never be able to see the light, like at least approaching, And once you see that speck of light, that's when the hope is there, right? Is because now you see it, and now you have hope that that light's going to increase, it's going to grow, and you're going to get out of that dark hole, that tunnel. But I have some quotes right here. I know we're talking about hope and stuff, but this is like the reality of things like depression, because only those who have been in it truly understand the severity of that quicksand. And the first one right here is from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, a long name. It says, "Every man has his secret sorrows, which the world knows not. And oftentimes we call a man cold when he's only sad." You know, a lot of times a man grows cold, or people, because I grew cold because I wasn't strong enough to handle what I was feeling. So I avoided feeling, when really I just needed a way to express myself. I needed to not hold everything in my heart and release it and make amends with people and myself, because they say the person that's going to forsake you the most in your life is yourself. You condemn yourself for things that are outside of you. Like you feel we hurt ourselves and we subjected ourselves to pain because we felt we deserved it, when it wasn't ours to hold.
Right.
It was ours to feel, but we weren't able to feel that and express that due to our upbringing and our culture, that we needed to express it some way. So we expressed it physically by harming ourselves, And the next one I have,
harming other people.
Or harming other people. That's a real big one, because they say hurt people, but healed people
and that's
also
what I
heal
did.
people.
I hurt, a lot of people, especially when I was younger.
Same.
I didn't
know better,
but yeah, I hurt a lot of people because I was hurt myself. So, it comes with you. Like scaring you and doing. We have to get into that story, but maybe for another.
Yeah, we will. That's why we're here. The next quote I have is, "I didn't want to wake up. I was having a much better time asleep." And that's really sad. It was almost like a reverse nightmare. Like when you wake up from a nightmare, you're so relieved. I woke up into a nightmare. That's from Ned Vizzini. And that is what it feels like. That's why, like, I slept a lot. I believe that's where my endurance and my willpower and my my work ethic, now you literally have to kill me to stop me. Like I won't crumble, I won't fold, I won't stop. And a lot of that was because I still had to perform, I still had to show up in life feeling like I was living in a nightmare. Like depression weighs heavy on a person, and I was moving through life still trying to to show up and please mom and dad while just feeling so weighed down by myself and my emotions. And it gets so bad to the point where getting up to brush your teeth feels like running a marathon. Like it just takes so much energy, and then you do that and you're like, yeah, I accomplished something, and you're like, now I gotta get dressed, and it's just so sad.
I guess I have felt that way, but not to an extent like how you felt. It wasn't as strong. But when I did feel sick, nutritionally, when I was lacking,
Yeah.
what was I lacking? I think it was calcium, potassium. I was like deficient in those two. So it just made it worse mentally. And so my heart rate, I was like full of anxiety. So I stopped going to the gym. And I would just want to curl up in a ball and like
Neck
stay in
spirals
bed.
out.
Yeah. And then I felt weaker because I wasn't working out. So just like walking down the stairs and coming back up was like if I was doing 30 steps or more than that. It was a struggle. And like you said, like brushing your teeth, like showering. I didn't even want to like go and shower because it just felt so much for me to do. So I don't know if that's a form of depression.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. You know,
I
it doesn't
never
have to be
really
as extreme,
knew.
but that's definitely like
Yeah.
depression, you know.
That's when I felt like it was a never ending cycle. Like I felt like I was drowning.
Yeah, that's the quicksand. Yeah, you're sinking.
Yeah, like I was just underwater and I couldn't come back up. And this happened in the fall.
Also recent.
This past
Oh,
fall.
wow.
It happened from October. It started in October. Actually, it kind of started like gradually from like September, and it got worse in October, and then till like December it started getting better. But honestly, I wasn't eating the greatest, and then of course I was lacking nutrients, so it just kind of made everything worse.
Yeah.
Until I was seeing my holistic doctor, and then he
put you back on track.
He helped me put me back on track and more balanced. So I got better in January. I started being, a little more consistent with the gym and going back and starting to build more of my strength. But yeah, it was terrible. I couldn't stand it anymore. Like I was in desperate need for help. And I knew if I went to the hospital, they were just gonna put me on meds. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going on medication.
It just suppresses that kind of instead of, yeah.
So no one likes to be, a guinea pig, like looking for doctors, like you like recommendations or referrals. But at this point, I was like, I have to be my own guinea pig and just try to look for someone. So I did, and he's my favorite doctor. Yeah. But yeah, he's helped me tremendously.
Health is wealth, like really.
And that's what got me into, well, not just that, but I've always been into holistic nutrition. But yeah, it just made
what made you more of an advocate,
me more, right? Yeah, to want to coach.
Yeah, so you can share that because it made you feel better. Now you want to share that with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Same thing with me in fitness. I know that helped me a lot with my mentality and being more stable with my thoughts and my emotions. So that's what I like to give to other people now. But yeah, that's huge, and I believe like also like building off of that is when my depression was at its worst is when I was wrestling. I was on the wrestling team, and I was like malnourished, like super malnourished. And I was just, again, I when I was writing, I wrote something that says, we don't know how much we can do with only 5% of our energy when all we have is 5% to give. Like we don't know what we can accomplish. Like there's some of us are out there and we're blessed with being 100% energy. We're not doing anything with it. Even 50%, and we're not doing anything with it. When you're depressed, like very severely depressed, it feels like you wake up. It's like when you forget to charge your phone at night and you wake up and it's on like 13%. That's all you got for the rest of the day. What are you gonna do with 13%? But at that time, you got to go to school. if you're in sports, you got to do sports. You know, if you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, or significant other, you got to, you know, be in that relationship. You got friends, you got to give them your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, I was coming home with like negative 5%. You know, it's like when your brakes are starting to grind on each other, it just grinds you down and grinds you down. But you know, that's some. You know, these days I feel like a lot of people are experiencing that, especially because their diets. You know, we're eating processed food, so
I know some people don't believe that it
diet.
helps because I've heard people tell me, "Oh, I've tried this, I've tried that, and it doesn't help. I don't believe in it." Well, what else are you doing? Like there's more to it than just, I don't know, not drinking pop, but let's say you're eating cookies at night, or you're like
You're
you're
messing with
doing
your
other
insulin, and
things.
you're messing with
Exactly.
like
Not
hormones
that's just an
are.
example,
Oh no,
but
yeah, but it's a real thing.
Nutrition is
It's huge.
it's huge.
That's why it's like mind, body, and spirit. You know,
It makes everything else, like, you know, these mental health issues, or mental health, I don't want to say issues, but these mental health problems even worse or heightened because the ingredients that are in certain foods heighten everything. It gives you anxiety. It gives you like
brain fog.
You know, brain fog.
And then your gut health is off, and then they say your gut is your second brain. So if your gut health is off, then you're gonna feel off.
Exactly.
And then I don't know if you've ever felt. I mean, obviously, yeah, we talked about eating disorders. Is feeling insecure in your body only even more feeds into your, you know, like your mental health problems, your depression, because you're like, I hate the way I look. I hate the way I walk. I hate everything about me. You know, like. It does get very serious, but again, there are ways to go about it, and there are ways to start tackling it and fixing it. And then right here at the bottom, I put a want and a need to get better. And you need to have a reason why. So why do you want to get better? Well, like for me, I had a reason why. I was just, first of all, I was tired of being depressed. Like I got tired of being tired. I was just like, I'm sick of this, you know?
Tired of feeling the same way over and over and over. It's draining, and it's like, why? There's something better at the end. Like you can
hope so. Even if you don't know, you can hope so. It beats the cycle of depression.
Yeah.
Like there came a time where I declared war on mental health. Like not advocating for it, but the actual aspect of mental health. I was like, now I'm sick and tired of feeling depressed. I'm sick and tired of feeling insecure. I'm sick and tired of anxiety and being bipolar. Like I'm not just gonna accept this. Like no, like it's a war. Like I'm going to fight this. And I did. And again, throughout that, I gained allies and God and friends and my family and stuff, which made it the fight better and more capable of fighting. But we need to not just accept being on our backs. You know, as hard as that is, it beats just being on our backs and accepting it. And that's a want and a need to get better. I want to get better. I need to get better. And from there, it's like, I will get better. And it's only a matter of time, you know, like before you start conquering your thought process, you start eating better, you start feeling better. And then those thoughts start going away. And then eventually you can start holding on to the positive aspects. You know, then you have kids. You know, if you get blessed with kids, you're like, I'm doing this for my kids. You know, I don't want my kids to see me down and out. You know, I want to give them like I want to be something that they can hold on to. You know, your friends and your family, like,
or even if they do see you that way, to teach them how to
get out of it. Yeah, like
keep going.
Like a fighting chance. You know, while we're still alive, while we're still kicking, there's a fighting chance. You know, but if we don't do something about it, then we start to lose that chance because time is not on our side. You know, so you know, every day we're blessed with a new opportunity to do something a little different. You know, to like a new option where life's all about options, right? Like, are you going to choose this negative thought or are you going to choose a positive thought? You know, and I know it's easier said than done because of course I've been there, but I've also been out of it. And I know what it takes to fight through that. And I know that it's possible to do that, you know? And I want to share one more quote. And it is, there are wounds that never show on the body that are deeper and more hurtful than anything that bleeds. And that is from Laurel K. Hamilton. So it starts, a lot of it starts in a bunch of places. We can choose where we want to start, but one of them is also being vulnerable about where we're hurt, where our wounds are. Because our body, I cut my hand right now and I don't have to pay attention to it. I just clean it and it starts to heal on its own, right? But wounds of the heart, wounds of the spirit, we need to literally focus on them so they heal. They won't heal on their own. They stay open. They stay there. And then we bleed on everything.
And it's crazy because we may feel like we forget it, but deep down inside, it's bothering us somewhere.
Yep. We can try to forget it. Mm-hmm. We can literally sweep it under the rug, but it's going to manifest itself.
Our bodies give us so many signs that you're not fully healed from it yet.
Yeah, and that's the truth. It sounds funny, but the truth don't lie. The truth don't lie. Those type of things, they don't lie. And it's all on us at the end of the day. It's about our quality of life. We can just do nothing and say life sucks, or we can take life, by the throat, I sound aggressive or whatever, and just be like, no, this is my life and I'm going to do the best to enjoy it. Even if it's not enjoyable, you can find enjoyment in suffering. It sounds crazy, but it's possible. If you're a person that's destined for a life of suffering, you can whistle while you work. If you're helping people, if you're being a positive impact, we got to learn how to turn that into fuel, turn that into just something positive.
It makes you feel good when you're at the end of it, when you finally overcame it, because you're just like, dang,
I'm on top of the world.
I am a strong person. I can get through this.
Yeah.
Like, it may feel like a very long time, like, when is this going to end? But you have to have faith that it will end, as long as you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
It will end.
And again, a lot of it is reaching out to people. If you have a gut feeling that tells you to go out, someone invites you out and your gut feeling tells you to go and we deny it, a lot of times that is a way out of what we're feeling. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the gut feeling tells you not to go, and we also have to listen to that as well. But life has a way of nudging us, of saying, hey, this person wants to have a conversation with you. Don't blow them off. They may leave you with good energy. Mm-hmm. This person wants to be your friend. Don't judge them. Invite them in. They may be a piece that you're missing. Life doesn't just only beat you down. It gives you keys. It gives you ways to open these doors. But again, a lot of this is manual. We have to rise above, and we got to do what we got to do. But yeah, man, mental health's a trip.
It is.
For real. It's a battle in its own, and it's literally you versus you in that battle. But again, we're never alone, and we're blessed with the tools, the weapons, the reinforcements we need to get through certain things. Because I'm not a self-made man, and I never will be, because I never got to this point on my own. There's always been people helping me. There's always been people lifting me, supporting me. And those people, everyone, I would love to give them their flowers. Like, I'm a grand gestures type of person, but still just reaching out, even if they're weirded out by it, just be like, hey, you did something huge for me back then. Thank you. Because something little often goes a far way. And again, if we deny ourselves connection, if we allow our hurt to dictate our lives, then we will remain hurt. We will remain isolated. We will remain alone. Life's about growth. We're a part of nature. Nature grows. We got to let parts of us die so new parts can be born. We got to let old cycles, old habits, things that the past selves of us did, to let go. And that also comes from fear. Yeah.
Letting go.
But, again, like, I can't take your hand if I'm holding on to this pen, right? I can't do that. What do I got to do? And it's like, oh, this is my favorite pen. I don't want to let it go. It's going to feel so weird without it in my hand. I let it go. And now I can take your hand. Mm-hmm. Right? But there's going to be a time where eventually,
where we have to let go.
And then guess what?
Right.
Or I'll get a better pen. Who knows? Life's about decisions, and there's a lot of beautiful, well, how do I say it? Surprises. If we knew everything that was going to happen, it wouldn't be much of a surprise, or it wouldn't be much fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's also the last thing is like not to take ourselves so seriously, not to take anything.
To take it so personally.
Yep. And I took everything personally at a time, I took everything personally when it just wasn't meant to be, it's like we're all reflecting on each other.
Right.
I can't take, if you're mean to me, I can't take that personal,
I think of it more like, okay, that person's going through something. Like, let me not give them that energy. Like, or not that energy,
make it worse.
But like make it worse.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, really quick, there's this thing that happened. Who was I with? Oh, we were at a store. Me, Mom, and my tia and my grandma were at a store, and I went in line to go pay, and I saw that the lady was kind of like, she had like an attitude. She was older, and she's like, "You can come over here." And so I went ahead and I like walked over there, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you from here because the machine was in the way." I said it to her nicely, and she was like, "Oh," she's like, "It's okay." And so she rang me up, and then all of a sudden, like, her attitude started going away because I was talking to her. And she was like, then she like called me honey and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I feel better because I made her, probably
you
feel
lightened
better.
her up a little bit,
So then I walked off, and then Mom came because she was checking out, and she had an attitude with Mom, and like just because the lady's face. And I looked at Mom, and then I already knew, like, Mom, she wanted to, like, because there are people like that. They want to strike back. You're giving me an attitude, I'm going to give you one,
Yeah.
But I looked at her, and Mom looked at me, and I'm just like, be nice. And then Mom didn't say anything. I think she heard differently, but she didn't say anything to her, like anything mean. She was like, just have a good day. And then the lady was like, nice. But that's just what you have to do sometimes. Like, bite your tongue, be nice. Maybe that's what the person needs, is just for someone, to try to switch up their mood. Like, they're probably already having a bad day. Yeah. Why are we going to make it worse by, oh, well, you gave me an attitude, I'm going to give,
give you one back.
Exactly.
And a lot of times that's hard for people because they're not either getting what they need themselves.
That too.
So it's like, why do I? Because that's how I was. I was like, why do I even care what you need?
I was like that too.
When I'm not getting what I need,
I would snap back.
Exactly. So that's why I believe if we want to be people that make a difference, we need to give ourselves or make sure.
We need to lead by example.
Yeah, but we need to give ourselves what we need so we can lead by example.
Yeah, right.
We need to fill our cup so we can pour into other people's type stuff.
Or maybe not just lead by example, but don't you want to be that type of person? Like, I want to be that type of person where, it makes you feel good about yourself too. Not like in a cocky way, but
a fulfilled way.
Exactly. Like, you feel positive. You feel like, okay, I'm spreading positivity, and it doesn't make you feel so like negative inside,
Yeah. Some people are going to take it because they want to, and some people are simply not, like that's why they say those people, you just pray for them because they're dealing with something deeper, That
too. It's just praying for the person.
Yeah.
If they...
That goes a long way. I've seen some crazy stuff happen in my personal life. Like I see things, like I notice things like protection and like, for example, like when you get caught up in traffic and they say you get upset because you're not getting to your destination on time, but it says like it's saving you from something. Like there was a time where that happened. I ended up I made a smoothie before I went to the gym, and I went to shake it up, and the lid was open and it splattered all over me, and I got so upset. I got so angry because I was like, I'm gonna be late. Man, this is so annoying. But when I left, there was a huge car accident that I avoided by like 5 minutes.
Wow.
It was like crazy. And I was like, if I never shook up, if my shake never blew up on me, I would have been on time, and I also would have been on time for that accident. So, and after that, I was just like, And I was like appreciative. I was
Yeah.
like,
I don't believe in coincidences.
I don't either.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah. Even the people that view this, even the people that see and view this all the way through, you did it for a reason. And I hope somewhere along the line of this, you heard something that you needed to hear.
It may click to you.
Yeah, because we try to not so much channel what we really want to say, what we really want to think. We try to channel like what needs to be said.
Right.
So there's someone out there that again is gonna stumble upon this, whether it's now or even later, and hopefully it strikes you in a spot that it shines a light on a spot in you that you needed to be illuminated, or something constructive, or even one of the stories we shared, it helps you in some type of way. Because again, this is what this podcast is all about, just being vulnerable ourselves so we can help and enable other people to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one step further in the right direction.
And knowing that it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna get emotional. No, but for real, like,
it's
do
fine.
I want to cry right now? I don't want to cry right now.
It's a normal thing.
Shoot. No, don't do that. It's going to make me worse.
I was trying to be supportive.
See, that's what I mean when I'm stubborn. I like push away. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I need to laugh while saying this. I'm sorry because I don't want to cry. It's okay to, like, if you've done things in your past and you feel like you're a terrible person for doing those things, it's okay. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Because, well, not really. That's not all I have to say. But I went through life like feeling like, I didn't want to talk about. Sorry. I didn't want to talk about a lot of the things I did because I just felt so bad. And I felt terrible. And I'm just like, I can't believe I did these things. But as long as you work through it and try to become that better person, it's okay. Like,
yeah, you can't deny effort.
Mm-hmm.
Effort is effort, and it's undeniable. As long as we're trying a little bit every day, just to not even make amends, but just to prove to ourselves and the people around us that really matter that, like, we can surprise ourselves and we can also surprise other people. But
I can't believe I cried for you guys. Well, I teared. I didn't really cry because I was like kind of holding back, but
yeah, that's good. It's a natural thing. A lot of people feel like they can't cry, and it's good that you showed them that they can. So that's all I got for today.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
that was
productive.
More than enough.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
So
thank you guys.
Thank you guys as always. We appreciate you. Everyone who stops by, that shows love, that shares, that gives us our feedback, and that is just there along the ride. We really appreciate you. Much love, and may we all grow together. Until the next one. Thank you guys.
Bye.